Welcome on back to the channel today, guys. We are going over some pros and cons from the Alpha 2 stream. We're going to cover a wide variety of topics on today's episode, but we're going to be focused in on some of the good, the bad, from the live stream and from, the days following this live stream. So there's a lot that we're going to cover. So let's jump into today's video. Alrighty, so we're talking pros and cons. If you haven't seen our deep dive into all of the phases of Alpha 2, go check that out. They're all live. We broke it down into 3 series. We covered each phase during one whole video. So we covered phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And we did a little bit of a breakdown on the keys for Alpha 2 and the drama behind that. And whatnot. So go check out those videos because those all kind of build onto our pros and cons video today. Also, a good way to stay up to date on everything is subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't done that, please consider doing that. That helps the channel out tremendously. But nonetheless, let's get into today. What are some of the pros and cons of the Alpha 2 announcement roadmap AMA that happened? Well, I think we'll start with a lot of the pros, right? We got a ton of great information. We got some answers. We got new information. There's tons of excitement again around the game, around its development. There's tons of talk. There's a lot of content creators out there. There's a lot of new folks, such as myself, popping up. There's a lot of talk happening around the game, which is great. Alpha 2 key sales came back. Again, we're supporting the project. So that's great. If you haven't been able to purchase one because you came to Ashes late, now you have this great opportunity to purchase into Alpha 2 testing. Again, please remember it's testing when you do buy into this. So remember what you're buying. Don't buy into what you think you're buying. Make sure you do an informed decision on what you're buying. We did get, like I said, new information around guilds, guild wars, what we expect to see, all of this in this testing phase of Alpha 2. So, the hype is real. We're excited and we're happy to, be a part of the journey. I think a lot of good information too that we got was we did get, where the Alpha 2 is going to be supported, right? We're going to have NA Central servers and EU servers, or as Intrepid calls them, realms, right? I'm going to try and stay on par with the vernacular. But, when we talk about realms or servers, we're going to use those two terms interchangeably, right? This is where the best way to describe it is where people are going to log in, right? Where you want to go play with your friends. That is a server or that is a realm. 3 realms for NA and 3 realms for EU. Now, a point of contention or, controversy or concern is each server is going to start at a 3,000 CCU, which again is good information. We've gotten a lot of good information behind the planning and what is expected. And again, remember, we're in Alpha 2. This is not launch. So at the start of Alpha 2, we're going to start with 3,000 CCU concurrent users on a server, on a realm. And then Intrepid has confirmed via Steven that they will then either add more CCU, so they'll raise it from 3K to 6K, let's say, and get 6,000 people in a realm, in a server, and see how it's functioning. And then from the next milestone of that particular server running smoothly and no problems, then they will increase that cap to, I think the range they said they want to get during Alpha 2 is 8 to 10,000, because that's, I think, what they're shooting for come launch. I think they're looking at maybe possibly 10,000 concurrent users per server online at a one given time, right? 10,000 people online at this given time. I think they might have said they want to house 15,000 people in one server, which is great. We like that. We want to test this. We want to get this number, obviously, to a good spot, because I myself remember playing Final Fantasy XI, and there were just tons of people everywhere, right? I think the last time that I played, there was 30,000 people in the world that I was in, which was low. Compared to, I think, times where Final Fantasy XI was really popular. So if we could get that in Ashes of Creation, that'd be crazy. But again, I think we have to do the proper testing. We also know that Intrepid is able to spin up new servers, new realms, if needed. So we're starting with the 3 realms at the start of Alpha 2, but it's based on their IntrepidNet and their tech talk and everything that they've built on the back end. They are very confident that they will be able to spin up a server or a realm very quickly. So we're starting with 3,000 CCU and 3 servers. That's 9,000 people. Boom. They need another server. They can spin one up, and now we have 12,000 total people with another 3,000 concurrent user server up, right? So we know that they're confident in that technology, that they will be able to do that. Now, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about all the phases and what we see in each phase, but some of the key highlights is we know Alpha 2 testing is going to have tons of updates. We know they're going to do hot fixes and major issues as needed, minor balancing issues and minor patchwork every 3 weeks, and then every 6 weeks we can anticipate a major update. This would include new content, new zones, new points of interest, a new archetype will be in those major updates. And we did get a very, well, I guess we can infer a very basic structure of each phase. And I went into detail on that in the deep dives as far as when these updates might be coming in each phase. So go check that out if you haven't as well. Cons, right? We've talked a lot about good things, and there's a lot of good things out there. And again, I'm not going into details, but cons. What are the major glaring cons that we, didn't get or were amiss, or people are talking about with some constructive feedback or criticism, stuff like that? Well, I think part of that is the initial 3,000 CCU per server per realm. And only having 3 servers at the start of Alpha 2. There's a lot of concern, and I personally kind of fall into this with my opinion, that that's too low to start with, right? That expectation is too low, given the fact that there was at least 100,000 people that bought Alpha 2 prior to the new keys being opened. That in itself would require 33 servers or 33 realms just for those 100,000 with 3,000 CCU on each server, right? Now, there's no way that Intrepid wants to, spin up 33 servers. And again, I think some of these Alpha 2 sales that were launched is to help support that, right? They need to get some money because it does cost money to spin up a server and to have it go live for, folks to use. So I think there's some cost savings built into the front end of the 3 servers per covered area, right? We're only getting 3 NA, 3 EU servers. So I think there's some cost savings baked into that, but I think it's also going to pose a challenge to the folks who are trying to get into Alpha 2 testing, and it's going to be a challenge that Intrepid is going to have to overcome quickly. And we don't know the back-end criteria for Intrepid to say, okay, listen, this server is ready to go from 3K CCU to 6K CCU. Or we don't know the criteria or milestone that needs to be hit for Intrepid to spin up a completely new server. And, I encourage you, if you're looking to get into testing, go buy a key, help support the project, get the ball rolling on testing. And remember, you're buying into a testing phase, not a real game yet. And then the other biggest con that a lot of people have been talking about is the Alpha 2 case sales themselves. Again, I covered this in another video already in some detail, so go check that out if you want to. But there are a lot of folks that are in camp. Okay, we never wanted keys. The keys weren't enough. The keys were expensive. The keys were fine. The keys were, not expensive enough. The keys had enough. The keys didn't have enough. And then, ultimately Intrepid launching these Alpha 2 phase bundles at the end caused this whole big wave to happen, right? And at the end of the day, Intrepid is going to do what Intrepid thinks is best for the development of the game and for the longevity of the game, right? And we as the consumer might not see that right when it happens or understand it or get all the information. We're only seeing part of it. Maybe Intrepid just wanted to gauge the community interaction with Alpha 2 sales in regards to what they did initially. And there was enough feedback from the community that said, listen, the price point's a little bit high for what you're given. You haven't confirmed if it's got beta 1 and beta 2 access. There's a lot of confusion here. Can we get some information? Yes, I think there's, you can look at it both ways, right? It was a miss. It was better, it was worse, whatnot. But again, at the end of the day, we have to be confident that it is helping out the development of the game and getting us to end goal quicker, which is launch. As far as this video goes, guys, I want to keep it short because I don't want to dwell on pros and cons. I want to move forward with content for Ashes of Creation. I don't want to dwell on all the drama. We try and stay out of it, but I think it's important that we discuss some of these key topics and really provide feedback and insight from a lot of different areas and experiences so that Intrepid can really formulate a very well-rounded opinion of what the community is giving them as far as feedback. And some of the concerns and some of the things that we love about the game, right? And some of the things that we love about the Alpha 2 announcement. So we're going to end it here. If you haven't, please do subscribe, guys. I really do appreciate it. It helps out with the channel. Go ahead, leave a comment. What do you guys think are some pros, some cons from the Alpha 2 live stream, or what you feel right now, after it, a few days, weeks, whenever. After Alpha 2 roadmap came out. Leave those in the comments. Let's get a discussion going. And as always, we'll see ya on the next one.